A very good happy Wednesday morning to everyone out there. Happy hump day. Landon here with you to bring you your latest weather and night forecast courtesy of On Target. Got plenty to talk about, folks. Our pattern is going to quieten down today into tomorrow. We're really going to heat up out there. But we're going to be focusing on the Thursday night into the Friday time frame for the opportunity at a few rounds of severe weather impacting the region. We can get a look out here early this morning. We still have this pinwheeling upper level low that's taking its sweet time, but this is going to continue to pull off to the north and east. This is going to allow for this warm front to begin to encroach upon the region out of the south and west, and this is really going to be kicking up our southwesterly flow, and that's going to warm us up significantly today, but more prominently as we work on into the Thursday time frame. You can see some of the cloud cover still wisping around out there. We've had some clearing skies across portions of the region, and folks, where those skies have cleared, we've got some dense fog to deal with. Morgantown Skycam showcasing that nicely. We just had all that fog rolling in off of the Green River. Be aware of that patchy dense fog across the region, and look at that fog just rolling at a very quick pace there, right over the interface of Morgantown. Taking a look over Bowling Green, where we're underneath those clear skies. We got a beautiful sunrise taking place with some wispy cloud cover there overlooking the water tower, courtesy of our D93 Skycam. Looking at those temperatures, we already got readings located on either side of the 60-degree mark for the most part. We're going to be bumping highs as we work on into this afternoon. Is going to be climbing up and topping out right around the mid-80s, all right? We got dew points well up into the 60s as well. It's going to get warm and muggy out there. We might have a stray storm chance this afternoon, but I think for the most part, the vast majority of the Wobbles community will be staying relatively dry for the most part. With that being said, though, the heat is on. Take a look at the latest short-term model guidance. Here we are working into this afternoon. We're going to jolt highs, showcasing right around the 80-degree mark, but folks, I think guidance is underplaying that. I think we're going to climb a few degrees higher. We're going to be between the low and mid 80s. And then we're going to get into our Thursday, whenever rays of sunshine is going to coincide with a brisk southwesterly wind. That's going to be pumping highs up to right around the mid and upper 80s. Not entirely out of the question that a few of us is going to be hitting the 90-degree mark during the peak heating of our Thursday afternoon. Let's shift gears, all right? Let's take a look at the big picture. After we get past the quieter weather today on into our Thursday, keep your eyes on this deepening area of low pressure located over the northern plains. This is going to churn eastward over towards the Great Lakes, and as it does so, that is going to be bringing the opportunity of rounds of strong and severe storms to the region. We're going to be keeping eyes on Thursday evening into early Friday morning for the initial round to work through here, and then very quickly, folks, as we progress into Friday afternoon and evening, this is whenever our focus is going to become maximized. Deepening low, pulling off to the north and east. Cold front is going to blast through with deep moisture churning in here out of the deep south. This is a recipe for the setup, given the ingredients within the atmosphere, that could develop into a rather significant severe weather event. Now, we're going to be keeping eyes on this, folks, because the evolution of this weather maker Thursday night into Friday morning will have a drastic impact of what we see throughout our Friday afternoon and evening time frame. So we're going to need to keep very, very close eyes on that, all right? So let's jump into the little bit deeper detail on what's exactly going to be unfolding for us. Here we are looking at precipitable water values. This is the amount of moisture content available within the atmosphere, and they are going to be very high for this time of year. Here we are progressing into our Thursday, and then we get into Friday, folks, and here's where we're watching. We work into our Friday. You see these precipitable water values pumping upwards of 1 3/4 of an inch. Again, folks, that is very high for this time of year. With it becoming maximized with the cold front coming through here, moisture and lift is going to be plentiful here across the entire region. Coming along in tandem with that, we're looking at the 500 millibar jet stream, all right? This is roughly 18 to 20,000 feet above our head, and take a look as we work into our Friday afternoon and evening. Look at that, becoming maximized here. Look at this jet streak, Friday evening into Friday night. Folks, we look at this as a promotion of lift across our atmosphere. Think of a chimney on a house. If you get wind that blows across that chimney, that causes that fire in that fireplace to grow. Well, if we get those strong winds aloft, that's going to create the lift with those storms to grow at an exponentially faster rate, aka fastly intensifying storms to come along with that. So all the ingredients appear to be there during this time frame, folks, and it looks like we'll keep our guard up until roughly the pre-dawn hours of our Saturday morning to come along with this, all right? Here's a look at the simulated radar as far as the short-term model guidance goes out. Again, maybe a few sporadic storms developing this afternoon, but for the most part, we'll be underneath partly to mostly sunny skies, very warm and muggy. We work into our Thursday, we should stay dry as a bone, and then we work into Thursday evening whenever the cold front passes. And here's that initial round that we're going to have to watch Thursday evening into early Friday morning, and this will greatly dictate how our Friday into Friday night is going to behave. By the time we progress on into the midday hours on into Friday afternoon, we still get this activity, but it's not going to be until later Friday afternoon into Friday night that we're going to see that development over here blast eastward right across the heart of our community, all right? So let's jump over here and let's break it down for you. First and foremost, we're looking at Thursday night. Storm Prediction Center has a 1 out of 5 severe risk with this. Large hail, locally damaging winds, frequent lightning, and heavy rain will be our primary concerns. And then the more prominent severe weather event arrives throughout Friday afternoon on into Friday night. The entirety of the Wobbles community has already been included at a 2 out of 5 risk. Seeing what I'm seeing here on guidance, folks, would not be surprised at all to see us upgraded to an enhanced risk. With the current ingredients we're seeing, we could be looking at some massive hailstones developing if this weather maker does come to fruition. We'll also have to deal with damaging winds, the opportunity of tornadoes with available rotation within the atmosphere. So we're keeping eyes on Friday afternoon and evening as the more prominent time for our severe threat peaking, all right? We can't rule it out Thursday night into Friday morning, but Friday afternoon and evening is looking more concerning to me as we currently see, all right? Over the course of the next week, we're going to have the opportunity of seeing anywhere between 2 to 3 inches of total rainfall. These multiple weather makers moving in here late Thursday night, all the way throughout our Friday. We're going to have some lingering hit-miss rain chances throughout the weekend. We're going to dry out Monday and Tuesday, but folks, this is valid through Wednesday morning. We're going to be watching Tuesday night into Wednesday of next week for another potential strong or even severe weather maker. So needless to say, folks, spring is still in here with the multiple rounds of severe weather that is anticipated here coming along in the pattern here over the next week, okay? Here's a full breakdown of your next 6-day weather forecast. Outside of an isolated storm chance today, going to be partly sunny and very warm. Highs in the low to mid 80s. We'll be near 90 degrees underneath sunshine on Thursday. Thursday night into Friday morning, opportunity of some strong and severe storms, but more prominently Friday afternoon through late Friday night. And then we're going to keep hit and miss showers and storms around Saturday and Sunday with highs remaining in the lower 80s, bumping highs to the mid 80s as we get into the start of the new work week. Friends, it's going to wrap up your Wednesday morning hump day edition of your Weather and Odd forecast presented by On Target. You all take care of yourselves and each other. Have a fabulous Wednesday.